He did actually. You might have
It can't be seen, so I'll just leave it. Or Ryan's. All right. With the microphone, it sounds like everybody can hear me, so that's good. So welcome to the January 14th, 2025 board meeting of the Escondido Union High School District. So I call it to order. And so the first thing we want to do is establish a quorum. So Christy Knight.
Present.
David Vincent.
Present.
Bill Durney.
Present.
Ryan Williams.
Here.
And I am here as well. So we have a quorum. We've asked Bill Durney to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our mission and vision.
Oh, yes. Oh, are we going to do the mission and vision first?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, everybody's very orderly. So since only Cadence is here, are you going to read them both? Okay, would you please read the mission and vision?
Yes. Okay. Mission: empowering every student to graduate prepared for college, career, and life through excellence in learning. Vision: we relentlessly pursue with optimism equitable support for all students who navigate a changing world by providing rigorous and relevant learning experiences that strengthen their capacity as open-minded and invested collaborators, effective and thoughtful communicators, resourceful and creative problem solvers, curious and analytical critical thinkers, and informed and compassionate community members.
Thank you, Cadence. All right, now we can do the pledge.
Okay, everyone please rise, salute the flag, and let's begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. I was going to do that right now or in a minute.
Before we go on inspirational. So right now, I would think, since you didn't do it at the.
Yeah, I was going to do it. So the reason why we're sitting here tonight like this is that we're testing out some new seating charts so that we can all see each other better. The dais is not very rounded, so it's nice to see everybody's faces. We can have good conversations face to face. So John and staff was kind enough to set up these tables and provide it like this. So you can give us feedback later. I happen to like it very much, but John was being very efficient with our funds, so we didn't spend a fortune on a new dais at the current time. We're just going to go with this. So I'm very happy with it, so I hope everybody else likes it too. The chairs are still very comfortable, so we're good. So if we move on to item C5, Ryan Williams is going to report action taken in closed session.
Oh, C4.
C4, my bad. Oh, wait, inspirational? My bad. Okay, so now we're going to do the inspirational student recognition by Mr. Jose Espinosa, principal of Valley High School.
It's on? Yep. Okay. Good evening, Superintendent Peterson, Board Member Weller, Board President Weller, and members of the board. I am truly honored to stand before you as the proud principal of Valley High School. So go Grizzlies. At Valley, our mission is to guide our students on their journey towards graduation, ensuring they are well prepared for both college and career. We firmly believe that the pillars of respect, think, and participate, RTP, are essential in helping our Grizzlies achieve success both at Valley and in their future endeavors. This evening, I am joined by two remarkable Grizzlies, our dedicated social worker, Adriana Bonilla, and our inspirational student, Jasmine Guerrero. Choosing just one student for this prestigious recognition is a challenging task, as Valley High School is home to many deserving individuals. Despite facing various personal challenges, these students show up every day, make significant progress, and contribute to the vibrant community at Valley High School by spreading a little joy. Jasmine exemplifies the VHS pillars of respect, think, and participate, RTP. She is consistently courteous and respectful. She proactively utilizes the resources available to her at Valley and resources available to her through the district to support her academic progress. Jasmine participates fully in her education, participates in extracurricular activities while also attending to significant responsibilities at home. She is truly an inspirational student. Now, I'd like to invite Ms. Adriana Bonilla to say a few words and to introduce our inspirational student. Ms. Bonilla.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Peterson, Board President Weller, and members of the board. My name is Adriana Bonilla, and I'm the school social worker at Valley High School. It is with great pride that I take a moment to share a few thoughts about an exceptional young lady before I introduce her. Jasmine Guerrero is a kind, empathic, and motivated young woman who carries a hint of shyness. As a senior at Valley High School, she's eagerly preparing for her graduation at the end of this year. Jasmine demonstrates a strong commitment to her education, maintaining excellent attendance and striving not only to earn her credits, but to excel academically. During Q2, she earned remarkable grades, achieving all A's and 1 B. I vividly recall her determination during the final week of school when she said, "I want to get all A's." Jasmine consistently sets high standards for herself, refusing to settle and always aiming for improvement. Beyond her academic pursuits, Jasmine actively participates in school activities. She dedicates time to both during and after, capturing memorable events as a member of the yearbook club. She also volunteers during movie nights and family nights, showcasing her commitment to contributing positively to her school community. As a supportive friend, Jasmine's a student who checks up on her peers. She encourages them to attend school and to earn their credits. Her positivity and encouragement make her a powerful influence among her classmates. Her aspirations reflect her desire for independence, a fulfilling career, and personal happiness. She navigates all of this while managing significant personal responsibilities. Despite these challenges, her radiant smile and resilient spirit brighten any room. Even when faced with time constraints and obstacles, she consistently shows up and gives her best effort. She confronts life's demands. Young lady she is becoming and look forward to following her educational journey and future successes. Now, I would like to introduce Valley High School's inspirational student, Jasmine Guerrero.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Guerrero, and I am 17 years old, currently a senior at Valley High School. Unlike many of my peers, I don't have a lot of free time after school. Instead, I dedicate my time to caring for my 2 toddlers, Esteban, who is 2 years old tomorrow, and Adrian, who is 3. They love to play and require constant supervision. My days are filled with making meals like sopa de fideo and spaghetti, cleaning our home, and doing laundry. I often hesitate to share that I'm a teenage mom because it can elicit a range of reactions, typically surprise or shock. Many of my teachers might not even know about my motherhood unless a friend mentions it in their presence. I understand the negative stigma attached to being a teen mom, and I want to clarify that I didn't plan to be a 17-year-old mother of 2 boys. It just happened. I love them dearly. They are my motivation to strive for a better future. There have been moments when I considered dropping out due to exhaustion and feeling overwhelmed. However, a significant change occurred during my junior year when I transferred to Valley High School to make up credits. When I realized I had the opportunity to graduate, I knew I had to work harder. I attend school not just to earn credits, but to prepare for my future. I take my education seriously, and I aim to achieve A's in my classes. Balancing school with motherhood can be challenging, especially when my children are sick. I often have to stay home to care for them, which can be tough, especially when I'm also feeling unwell. During these times, I make the most of any free moments or nap times to catch up on my work. I am proud to say that I will graduate on time this June. I couldn't have reached this milestone without the support of my family, the dedicated teachers at Valley High School, and CalSafe program, which provides daycare for my children. Looking ahead, I have many goals. I want to obtain my driver's license, find a job after school, and continue my education. While I'm exploring options in cosmetology, nursing, or law enforcement, I am open to discovering a path that suits me. One thing I know for sure is that I aspire to have a career that offers financial stability, independence, and happiness, not just for myself, but for my children as well. Thank you for recognizing me as an inspirational student. This acknowledgement means a lot to me as I continue my journey.
Thank you so much. Jasmine, that's very moving, really is. We're very proud of you and your accomplishments
We have
and
a plaque
achievement.
for you as well.
Yeah.
Jasmine, if you can come up here, please. So this plaque here says yes to be. Testing. Okay, thank you. And then we do have Supervisor Jim Desmond's office here, Adrienne Cisneros Salkman, to give also another honor.
Hi. Thank you. I am the community liaison for County Supervisor Jim Desmond, and he congratulates you on all your achievements and your family and everything you're doing. That's amazing. He believes you're going to be a great asset to the Escondido community, and best wishes on your future endeavors and academic success, whether it's in nursing or whatever you're doing. I think you're going to achieve everything you want. And congratulations.
Thank you. So I have to ask, are those your two little guys? Yes. Yes, they need to be up here with the picture. Come on, get them up here. They're totally cute. Oh, yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, do you want us right here?
I try to get the backdrop, so that's perfect. That's perfect. Right?
Okay. It was a nice good walking around the memo. David, would you go get them? So happy. Like a Christmas picture.
Wow.
Not gonna happen.
Thank you so much. Good night.
That was awesome. What happened? This is trying to turn off. All righty. Well, that was fun. And so now we're at C5, report of action taken in closed session will be reported out by Ryan Williams.
Okay. So in closed session on motion of Board Member Knight, second by Board Member Durney, the Board of Education voted to case numbers 494 through 497 for the 2024-2025 school year by a 5 yay, 0 nay, 0 absent, and 0 abstain vote. On motion of Board Member Knight, this is item number 2, second by Board Member Vincent, the Board of Education voted to approve graduation waivers case numbers 25 through 27 for the 2024-25 school year by a 5 yay, 5 yay, 0 nay, 0 absent, 0 abstain vote. And that is the report from closed session.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. Great job. So now we are going to.
That's right.
So then we're now going to have an approval of the board meeting minutes for December 17th. Do I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So then I now call for a vote first from the student board member.
Aye.
Thank you. And then from the trustees?
Aye.
All in favor. So that's moves forward. Do I need to say anything else on that?
No.
Okay. So then we move to item approval of agenda, item number 7, additions, deletions, or corrections. Does anybody have any comments before I ask for a motion on that?
We have no additions, deletions, or corrections.
Okay, thank you. So then can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And with that, we'll again start with the student board member.
Aye.
Aye, and then the board members, trustees.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So that passes. And then we move down to C8, the approval of consent calendar, items on the agenda marked with an asterisk. Should I be reading those items with the asterisk?
You can give a quick rundown there. 1 through 3.
Okay. So thank you all for your patience, as this is basically my first night getting to run the meeting. So in the consent calendar, that means that we're going to take a general vote on the following items, and that's educational services F1, human resources G1, G2, and G3, and business services H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and 6 and 7. Now, it's important to note that the agenda was posted on Friday night. It's always posted on the Friday before the meeting. So as the audience would like to ever take a look at what we're about to talk about, especially in the areas where we might put it under consent, where we just vote for all of it once, you have basically 5 days in advance to review everything. So just a little note on that. So then, can I get a motion on the approval of the consent calendar, please? Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. And so on this one, though, does it matter if I do a roll call vote or not?
It does not call for a roll call.
Okay, great. So then student board member first.
Aye.
Thank you. And for trustees?
Aye.
Aye.
That too passes unanimously, so thank you. So now we're going to move down to recognition and presentations. And we'll start with student and staff recognition by Superintendent Mr. Peterson.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll begin with student recognitions and begin with Orange Glen High School. Orange Glen High School's Torch Yearbook was published in the most recent edition of Journalism, Publishing Across Media, a nationally distributed textbook for journalism and media classes. The work published is a spread highlighting the diversity of the Orange Glen High School campus and celebrating the various cultural traditions that students have. Great work, Orange Glen High School Torch Yearbook. From San Pasqual High School, congratulations to SP High School Boys Varsity Water Polo Team for winning the Division III CIF San Diego Championship. Way to go. San Pasqual's DECA team competed for their first district competition this past weekend. DECA is a club that prepares students for careers in business, marketing, finance, hospitality, and entrepreneurship. Congratulations to Jacob Whitney for his first place in social media competition and third place in hotel lodging management. And Xavier Becerril and Denise Medina for second place in team business law and ethics. Finalists in other categories included Lena Devine, Juliet Lopez, Diana Alcina Gomez, Rachel Hodgson, Juan Garcia, Olivia Garcia, and Salvador Lopez, and Alex Schutz. They are now studying and preparing for the state conference at the end of February. Moving on to Del Lago Academy, Del Lago DECA students also participated in the district competition. Congratulations to Ava Manushari Farr for second place in retail merchandising, and Joseph Ware and Kayla Trong for third place in team business law and ethics. Finalists in other categories included Sophie Spratt and Yasmin Bakhta, as well as overall finalists Hodalis Paniagua Pacheco, Simi Gulrajani, Jessica Hunya, and Christina Hunya. Well done. And at Valley High School, the following Valley High School students graduated in the second quarter: Carmen Carrasco, Jacob Gomez, Jocelyn Linares Aguilar, Jose Solis, Jocelyn Toledo Leon, Aiden Emmerich, and Ari Gross. We're very proud of these students. And finally, I'll conclude with a staff recognition from Orange Glen High School. Orange Glen counselor Rita Guerra was recently selected as a finalist for the San Diego County High School Counselor of the Year. Congratulations, Rita.
Yes. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Peterson. And now we move on to D2, Student Board Member Report. And tonight it will just be Cadence Forby.
I will be sharing both me and Alondra's report.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, faculty, and everyone in attendance. I am pleased to share the recent updates on our upcoming high schools. On January 13th, Club Rush provides students an opportunity to explore and join various clubs at San Pasqual. Also at SP, their winter pep rally will be on January 24th, themed Hunger Games. Movie night and club carnival will be set for January 31st, bringing the community together to show the Hunger Games. And we also, like Superintendent Peterson said, had our DECA conference on January 11th and 12th, which is the first competitive conference that we've participated in since the mid-1970s. Next up is Valley High School. There's 4 upcoming basketball games versus Pacific View Charter School, Oak Glen High School, Ivy High School, and Surfside High School. And then on Friday, January 17th, they are planning a movie night. Next up, Orange Glen. The ASB Council will present at the CATA Middle School Conference on January 27th in Rancho Bernardo. And Orange Glen will host its MORP Pep Rally and Dance Friday, January 31st. Now on to Del Lago Academy. Today, Del Lago Academy hosted a winter festival that was postponed during the blackout that happened the week before finals on the 31st. Clubs will be hosting a food fair prior to the boys and girls basketball game. Next is Escondido High School. Before winter break, the boys varsity basketball team won all 3 of the games they played against Guanome Park, Mission Vista, and Rock Academy. EHS Competitive Cheer placed 4th at San Diego Selectionals and will be competing in CIF States in February. EHS is having a Spirit Week, January 21st to 24th, ending with a pep rally on Friday. Thank you, and this is the end of our reports.
All right, thank you so much. Your reports are always so informational and succinct. We appreciate that very much. Thank you. I also have to say I really enjoy, like, I can see you when you give your report now. Before, there was a voice at the end, so this is awesome. I'm so happy. So now we move on to recognition and presentations D3, the annual LCAP, which stands for Local Control Accountability Plan, metrics presentation by Dr. Martine Casas.
You have the clicker here? I can just say next if you want to. That's easier. Okay, can we go back to the intro slide then? Thank you. Okay, thank you, President Weller, members of the board, members of the community and cabinet. Thank you for being here. Excited and happy to share our progress on our LCAP goals from the previous school year, from 23-24. And before I begin, it begs the question, why are we doing this now? We're halfway through 24-25. And it is because the state does not certify our results until December 2024 from the 23-24 school year. So the state certifies that these are our results based on our LCAP goals and all of the state measures that they collect via the dashboard. The dashboard was publicly released in early December 2024. Gives us time to do this presentation, and that's why we present in January about the previous school year. So that's why we're doing this now. The first portion of this presentation will focus on our LCAP goals, and in particular, what we consider our LCAP goal predictors, which are 15 of our major academic predictor goals, which we'll get into in a second. And then the latter portion of the presentation will focus on the summary of the dashboard results. Okay, next slide, please. Before I get into it, just want to publicly acknowledge and thank Dr. Adriana Lepe Ramirez, our Director of Assessment and Accountability, who writes the LCAP. She's here in attendance tonight. And also Alfredo Amador, our Director of Data Management, who helps us put together all of the data and submits all of our data via CBEDS. And so he's involved with the authentication, verification of our data results as well. Quick summary of our LCAP goals before we get into it, and a reminder of what it is. Last year, our Educational Partner Committee created a 3-year plan, so a 3-year goal, to improve in these following areas. Goal 1, academic achievement, which will take the bulk of what we consider the academic predictor goals, things like A through G, CASP results, AP pass rate, 9th grade math success, ELA success in 9th grade, ELA reclassification, CTE completion. Those are all in goal 1, and you can think of those as, that's our primary job, is to educate students, right? Goal 1, all of these different types of academic indicators. Goal number 2, how can we improve teaching and learning and leadership so that learning improves in goal 1? Goal number 3, what support can we give students, and think about resources and access to resources so that they can learn. Things like you heard earlier from our Valley student, Jasmine, participates in CalSafe. CalSafe is funded through the LCAP. CalSafe is hosted at Orange Glen High School. It is access to daycare for teen parents. And so removing that access to daycare would significantly impact students' ability to perform well academically and actually graduate high school. That is funded through the LCAP. Things like one-to-one laptops are funded in goal 3, lower class sizes, access to tutoring. We pay for every student's AP exam in goal number 3. Goal number 4, how can we increase communication and access to our parents, things like parent workshops, FAFSA, college apps, LCAP nights, ELAC, access to GABE, for example, so that parents are engaged and they know what's going on at school, all ultimately to improve goal number 1. And goal number 5, how can we make our campuses safe and respectful? If students don't feel safe, they won't attend. And if they don't attend, they're not going to improve in goal 1, right? So things that we fund in goal number 5 are things like cameras, school resource officer, extra campus security, our wellness centers, our interventions, MTSS, a variety of different things. That's just a brief overview. And obviously, the second half of this year, you're going to hear a lot about the LCAP, almost monthly. So, yeah, 2 to 5 are all in service of goal number 1, basically. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No problem. If we can move on to the next slide. This is a quick overview of our demographics. For the purposes of the LCAP, I want to draw your attention to our English language learners, our economically disadvantaged students, and our foster youth. Respectively, for this year, English language learner population is 22.4% of our student population. Our economically disadvantaged students, and for context, what that threshold is for a family of 4 is about $57,000, okay? So 82.3% of our students are considered economically disadvantaged. And foster youth, 0.3. So the LCAP plan has to target these 3 student groups. However, all of the actions and services can impact all other students in our district, okay? But we have to specifically articulate how it's targeting those 3 student groups. English language learner, ELL. Reclassified English proficient is RFEP. And economically disadvantaged, it's also socioeconomically disadvantaged. Okay. Moving on. So this is one of the metrics that we consider a predictor. And in particular, 9th grade is a predictor for A through G completion and graduation. In other words, all the literature and the research suggest that if students are successful in passing English 9 and or Math 1 or their freshman level mathematics course, they are more likely to complete A through G and or graduate. Our goal was to increase 9th grade students passing ELA by 2%, and we met that. It actually increased by 3.1. So that's wonderful news, and you see that there on the left-hand side for ELA. On the right-hand side, you see EUHSD math. Our goal was to increase it by the same amount by 2%. However, it only improved by 1.5%. So while the goal was not met, it did improve. And there's going to be a summary slide of all of these, but feel free to ask any questions as we move through. AP exam pass rate. Here you'll see that our goal was to increase our AP pass rate by 2%, and actually our pass rate improved by 4.7%, which is wonderful, so we met that goal. And right next to it is AP course enrollment. Our goal was to increase the enrollment by 1%. It actually decreased by 0.6%. We did a little digging into this, and we found that a focus on meeting graduation requirements and meeting A through G requirements instead of taking an additional AP course was an emphasis when we spoke to APs over counseling, which work with our counselors directly. So some work to be done there, but we're certainly encouraged by our AP exam pass rate, but still want to improve our course enrollment.
Yeah, so quick clarification on that. So you're saying that our A through G pass rate went up, right?
Correct.
But our pass rate, was it pass rate or enrollment that went down?
Enrollment went down.
Enrollment went down at the risk of dropping the enrollment there. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So we started paying for the AP exams, right, as part of LCAP.
Yep.
And then we saw the increase to the pass rate go up. Do we have hope that by paying for the exam, more students will enroll in AP courses?
That's our hope. So you see that change from 21-22 to 22-23. That was associated with paying for the AP exam. We went from 7.7 to 10.2. So that increased.
First year, yeah.
But you look at every previous year from that, we were fluctuating from 7 to 8%. So even compared to previous years, we're still higher this year at
Still way high,
9.6.
okay.
Correct.
But we'll keep it.
Yep.
Okay.
State seal by literacy. Happy to share here that our goal was to increase it by 2%, and we increased it by 4.6. Requirements to meet the state seal by literacy is taking 4 years of a world language and passing that with a 3.0 or better, as well as getting at least a 3.0 or better in all of your English courses. So for example, if 4 years of French, you got a 3.0 or above in your French classes, but also 3.0 above in all your English classes, you would meet the requirement. There's a variety of different ways of meeting it. Other ways are getting a 3 or better on any AP exam that's a world language, so AP Spanish, for example, but also having a 3.0 or higher in your English classes. So you get the state sealed by literacy. Many other ways, but those are sort of like the most popular ways students obtain that recognition. Really excited to share next to it, our A through G completion percentage increased. Our goal was to increase it by 2%, and it actually increased by 4.6%. This is one of the first metrics to outperform pre-pandemic levels. 18-19 was 48.2, 19-20 was 48.6, and we are now at 49.8, which is wonderful. Good progress. It's a variety of things. I would say mainly the work of our teachers and their PLC model, really trying to align grading practices. What we have found now more when teachers are focusing on performance rather than compliance, that achievement goes up. And what I mean by that is, did you just turn in all your homework and that's 70% of your grade and 30% assessment, right? Now, for the most part, it's shifted, right? There's still some outliers, but now we have the opposite, like 70% is on performance, 30% is on routine stuff like turning in your homework versus practice. So not all teachers are doing it, but that momentum is increasing. There's different names for it. Standards-based grading. Correct. Correct.
Hey, David, can you turn on your mic when you're talking, please?
So with this success, this is phenomenal success. Why are we not aligning the other teachers to take this approach so the numbers can go?
Right. Ed Code's very clear. The teacher and the teacher only determines the evaluation of learning, and they could dictate how they assess that learning as long as it meets the requirements of our board policy, which is somewhat vague, but very similar to most districts. So in other words, we can't force a teacher, thou shalt grade this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, really?
We can't.
Okay.
Is that because in the
my naiveness?
Is that because of collective bargaining?
It's Ed Code. So it's not collective bargaining. Yeah. Yeah.
Where in the Ed Code, or you can get us that
Yeah,
number
I can
later.
share that with you. I don't remember the exact Ed code, but I do remember our board policy is 5121 if you want to look at that. And I'll send you that link as well. I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
That's pretty interesting.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That 50-page document that's out there?
The Ed code, yeah, but our own board policy is actually pretty succinct. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
all right.
So I got a dumb question here. So when we're talking about percentage growth here, we're talking about percentage points themselves, or are we talking about the total growth here, right? So, for example, it went up between. I'll talk about the A through G completion rate. So, 2022 to 2023 was 45.2. It went up to 49.8. We're saying that is a 4.6% growth. That's 4.6 percentage points rather than actual growth, right?
Yeah, I guess the difference is 4.6%. It's measured by the number of graduating students that completed the A through G requirements of that particular senior class.
Yeah, percentage points.
So the N could be different, but yeah.
Okay, thanks.
The next slide is ELL reclassification. So this is the percentage of our English learners that after they take the LPAC assessment, which assesses their ability to read, write, listen, and speak the English language at grade level proficiency, if you will, increased by 1.1%, but our goal was 2%. So while we did not meet our goal, we still showed improvement. And I'll come back to this when we go over the dashboard because this is going to be important to talk about.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to ask a bunch of questions, so I'll wait.
Yeah. Next is CTE enrollment, which is one of our board goals, and happy to report here that our goal was to increase our enrollment by 1%. Actually, we exceeded that, and it increased by 3.4%. So that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
Attached to that, you'll see that the capstone completion, which means they completed typically 2 years of a CTE program with some sort of certification. Our goal is to increase that by 2%. We did not meet that goal, but it still increased by 1.4%. So almost. Progress and improvement in CTE enrollment and CTE capstone completion.
Okay, so I got a question regarding the CTE capstone completion. When you say that wasn't completed, can you kind of give me an example of that?
Yeah, so I might be in let's use CTE auto for example, and I love it, right? And I loved it in the first year. I enrolled it for my senior year. Let's say I started my junior year in the program, and my goal was to be a completer my senior year. But I didn't pass Math 3 my junior year, and I want to go to college. So that student is met with the decision. This is just an example. There's different scenarios out there, but this is an example, right? So that's a discussion with the family and with the student. So the recommendation, if you want to apply right away to a 4-year college, you should take Math 3 again your senior year and not be a CTE completer. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Or if your plan is to just go to community college and you're really passionate about auto, go ahead and take auto your senior year and finish the pathway.
Okay. So is there maybe not an incentive to do it, or is it?
There's just, it's
specifically
circumstantial. It's circumstantial, really. But if you look at the trend there, scheduling wise, we've done a wonderful job of really creating 4-year plans and counseling so that they are completers, and we're only getting better at it. So
Good, I'm glad to hear.
yeah. Next here, you'll see our graduation rate. Our goal was for it to increase by 1%. It decreased by 0.1. In the dashboard, it's considered no change. And I'll just give you context. The state average is 84%. And this last graduating class was the last graduation cohort impacted by the pandemic. And since then, we've added more credit recovery options, such as our PBL credit recovery, which we just piloted this year, and the board approved at the beginning of this year. But I'll just say that the 4-year adjusted cohort graduation rate, this could be students that leave our district like sophomore year, and sometimes we can't track them down. Sometimes they move out of the country, but they count for our N size, our sample size, because they're counted as soon as they come their freshman year. Does that make sense? And if we can't find where they are, then they count on the opposite side there as a dropout, and it impacts our graduation rate. So this last class was the last sort of class impacted by the pandemic, and we are very optimistic that we're going to do some growth there. So.
What do you mean by find them? What kind of proof do you have to say, for instance, we know that this student is no longer in Escondido, we know this student is no longer in our district?
The reason this exists is because there used to be schools, and I'm not going to say names or districts or whatever, that when you found that a student's probably not going to be successful, they encourage the student to disenroll and go elsewhere after their freshman or sophomore year. Well, the state said, fine, you can do that. They're still going to count for your graduation cohort rate, because they started with you as a freshman. And what I mean by that is sometimes we found in the pandemic, a lot of families that are multi-family households, some of the families moved away during the pandemic, and we just can't find them. And we go to a neighbor's house. Do you know where so-and-so? We don't know. numbers
Seems
disconnected.
like these are unintended consequences for trying to solve another problem, and now you've created an additional problem.
Yeah.
So do we know if there's any attempt at the state level to change how that adjusted graduation rate? Because I feel like we're probably hurt more than we're helped by this. Not because the students are really dropping out, but
Right.
because there's no way to prove where they
Right.
went.
We're not sure, but we're choosing to focus on what we can control. And so we're just trying to provide more credit recovery options for the kids that are there and that we can't find. And so, but yeah, we're not sure.
Dr. Cassis, what?
I can't tell you that one off the top of my head, so I'll have to come back to you on that. Next slide, good news here, chronic absenteeism rate. Our goal was to decrease chronic absenteeism by a fraction of a percent, 0.25, and we decreased it by 5.1%, which is wonderful. And I'll attribute that to our MTSS team, which Dr. Ramirez behind me oversees, and a lot of alignment of attendance protocols and intervention, and probably an increase of 30 to 40% of home visits that we've done. So great news there. Yes.
You're all good. Does this include Valley High School as well?
It does.
Oh.
Yes. Valley actually had one of our biggest increases. So.
Valley's actually a really fun school.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really fun school.
Yes.
You went there, so of course it would be.
Dr. Vincent, you had a question?
Yeah. Can we have a presentation on that? I really like to know
Yeah,
a little
we can
bit more
definitely do
about
that.
program, because it sounds like it's working.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, learn a little bit more about when programs are working, what our success are, and
Love to.
is that something the board would be interested in? I would like to definitely hear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The next slide here, you have suspension rate. Our goal is to decrease it by 1%. We decreased it by 1.9%. And accompanying that slide right next to is expulsion rate. Our goal was to decrease it by 0.005%. It only decreased by 0.03. It still improved, but we did not make progress. But we're okay with that as long as our campuses are safe. So.
These are the reductions, or this is that 0.08% get expelled? So how do you?
0.08% in 21-22 got expelled.
Got it. And
Yes.
now we're down to 0.03.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Next slide here. These are the LCAP goals, that 15 of them that we consider academic predictor goals. In other words, if we improve in these, we predict that graduation rates should increase and A through G should increase and test scores should increase. Out of the 15, I'll point out that only 4 did not improve. So the ones that are, well, you can't see it there, but it's kind of a salmon color. Or you could see it on this screen. So out of 15 goals, only 4 did not improve. And I think as a board and as a district, we should be very proud of that. Whatever 4 out of 15 is, I'm not sure, but.
So just to interpret this better, so say, for example, line item 1, increase 9th graders passing ELA college and career ready courses by 2%. So those are like grades in classrooms. That's not a test that they take like CAS.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So basically, so 9th graders passing ELA, 9th graders in math. So then to read this, the first line, increase 9th graders passing ELA, the passing increased by 3.1%. Do you have a number for what the current pass rate is of the students? So I understand that it increased by 3%, but is the pass rate 60%, 70%?
It's in the third slide that I went over. I'll back up.
Thank you.
I just covered that. So it's right here. So you'll notice here on my left side here, you'll see in 21-22, 75.1% of 9th graders passed English 9. 22-23, 80.6% of 9th graders passed English 9, and then last year, 83.7.
I'd just like to mention something. I know you just said, hey, you know, we're doing great. We only didn't make it on 4 out of the 15 items.
I said we only did not improve in 4 out of the 15.
Did not improve.
Yeah,
But
so some of those we did not meet the goal, but we still showed improvement.
did not improve, excuse me. But I'm thinking not met on 8 out of the 15 goals, more than half. It's really not good.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we actually have an objective measure of that. The California dashboard says otherwise.
Okay.
Yes, so here's the California dashboard. Okay, California dashboard measures us in 7 categories. We improved in 5 out of the 7. And 1, we stayed the same, and 1, we did not improve, which was ELL reclassification, which I'll get to why in a second. And some highlights here, we improved in ELA CASP, math CASP, high school graduation rate stayed the same. College and career readiness, which you can meet it in 8 different ways. One of them is A through G, or passing 2 or more AP exams, or a combination of being a CTE completer and meeting one of the exams in the CASP at met or exceeded. Okay, that improved dramatically. And EUHSD was one of only 10 schools in the county out of 44, actually, not 42, that received the green rating or better in ELA. Our ELA score was above the state average and above the San Diego County average. The result is one of the highest in the county for districts that have an English learner population greater than 15%. And note, only one academic area did not receive a positive rating on the dashboard. That's ELL reclassification, which is confusing because our ELL reclassification rate actually increased by 1.1%. So you might ask yourself, well, why did we get not a positive rating on the dashboard? The dashboard is very specific on focusing on student groups and demographic groups. And what we did not make progress on is the English classification of our long-term English learners, LTELs. So those are students that were English learners and have been with us for 5 or more years. So that particular demographic group, because they did not improve, we got a lower rating on the dashboard. But 5 out of the 7 categories in the dashboard improved, okay? And that is a rating from the state of California, from CDE. And I have more to share.
Real quick, just
Yes.
so just to make sure fully understand, on the California dashboard slide, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down, our high school ELA score, taking all 4 or 5 high schools on that. Would that be the 54.78? That number basically, is that a CASP test score or what is that score?
It's CASP, yes.
Okay. And so then that means 54.78% of our students are at grade level.
Met or exceeded standards, so they could be above grade level.
Cool. Met or exceeded levels. Okay. So then, is there one for math on here?
There is. In your insert in the binder, you have a 2-year summary. And I did note here, while math achievement improved, much work remains to be done in mathematics. If you see the pullout insert in your binder, you have all kinds of comparisons there. Okay, and I'll go over the mathematics one. California all students average was 35.4%. California unduplicated students was 18.1. San Diego was 40.5. San Diego unduplicated was 20. EUHSD was 18.7. So a lot of different ways you can look at it, but there's the summary for mathematics.
So I really appreciate you bringing that up, Dr. Casas, because when Principal Santos came in from Orange Glen, I mean, I felt so bad for him that I actually called Superintendent Peterson over the break to say that I could to call him. And I just said, whatever you need over at that school, because they're at 9%. I mean, that is heartbreaking. And I know he's only been the principal there 2 years, so I mean, it's not like he got us here. But the thing is we're all in this. I mean, that is catastrophic.
Agreed.
And so we're here to whatever you guys need. Seriously.
Appreciate that.
I mean, this is heartbreaking. Yeah.
I agree, but I'll also point out that is 1 out of 7 measures. And yes, I wholeheartedly agree.
You and I are good.
Work on
Yes.
that.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And the next one here, happy to report, EUHSD is out of differentiated assistance for the second consecutive year. We are not under federal, state differentiated assistance or program improvement because of the improved achievement of all student demographic groups. In other words, not one student demographic group was in red or low in 2 or more areas. For context, previous to last year, we had been in it for 18 consecutive years. So it's a monumental achievement.
Well done. Can you go back for a second?
Yes.
I want to just rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a failure.
Yeah, it is.
It's a failure.
Wow.
Well,
And I feel good that, we're above San Diego.
I think you'll be even more surprised at the next slides.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't want to take away.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
So locally, out of 44 school districts, 28 are in differentiated assistance. Here's some local ones. These are districts that are in differentiated assistance. In other words, they had 1 or more groups that are in red in 2 or more categories. Okay. So proximity, Fallbrook, San Marcos, Vista, Valley Center, they are all in differentiated assistance. And here's the bigger one, our elementary for the past 2 years. We are doing something different with our own kids here.
Thank you.
So that is publicly available, and we look forward to working with them. But I think I want to give this to you so you can get context of who is and who isn't.
So I got a question to ask. And,
Yes.
Maybe this is a sensitive topic, but really has to go back to the amount of effort that must be put in at the grade 9 level to compensate.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, we get them when we get them.
Yeah.
And so our focus is on control the controllables. We can't control what happens in the elementary. We control when we get them. And as long as from the day one we get them till they leave, they improve, then we're doing our work.
Yeah, and still you're showing good progress. I mean, I've spoken to some teachers and they have a real difficult time in transforming the kids into a higher academic learning.
Yeah.
Well, in my board speech at the end, I've actually got a paragraph talking about how I want to have 2 meetings a year with the elementary district combined, because we have to sync up better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I said that without. By the way, Bill and I are going to put little lights on here. We're going to rewire this.
Okay. The next slide here, for more context, these are districts that are not in differentiated assistance. So this is who we're in company with. Cardiff Elementary, their unduplicated percentage, and again, a reminder, that is the percentage of students that fall into economically disadvantaged, foster youth, or English learners, okay? 13.6, Coronado, 16%. East Elementary, 38.1. Del Mar Union, 8.2. Encinitas, 18.4. Escondido Union High School District, 82%. I demonstrate this to you and I show this to you because we are an outlier district. The only other one close to us is National Elementary at 79. Everybody else, relatively low. Look at Rancho Santa Fe Elementary, 4.7. Poway Unified, 15.2%. Solana Beach, 12.8. And for more context, the next slide, these are districts that are in differentiated assistance and they're unduplicated. Cajon Valley, 80.9. Carlsbad is an outlier in the opposite way, 21.4. Chula Vista Elementary, 60.8. Fallbrook Union High, 75.3. Vallecitos, 86.4. San Isidro, 81.6.
Hey, Dr. Casas?
Yes.
For the people at home, can you please continue to define unduplicated again? Because it's something that kind of comes and goes for people to see. So remind us what unduplicated is.
Yes, it's the percentage of students that fall into one of the following 3 categories: English language learner, economically disadvantaged, or foster youth.
Thank you.
So we are encouraged by our progress. By no means are we satisfied. questions?
I've got a question going back to the math question.
Yes.
And I'm on this page here.
Okay.
So on the DLA side, so DLA has had a required third year of math for, I think they have it required 4 years worth of math. Is that right?
That is their program. It is not their graduation requirement. The board establishes the graduation requirement.
Right, but as far as the program itself,
It's their default scheduling.
default is they take
Yes.
math for 4 years.
Yes.
And so, ELA is great at 70%, but that hovering 28, while it's the best in the district, it's about the same as San Pasqual, who's probably been having, doesn't have 4 years worth of required math. Right? So what do you think is the difference there?
It's a complex answer, but I'll also point to the fact that if you look at the California average for unduplicated, and even San Diego, Del Lago outperforms them, and they're about 74% unduplicated. Del Lago, for all intents and purposes, has been historically our higher performing school in mathematics. If you'll see, San Pasqual has done a wonderful job of closing that gap. Del Lago has had a lot of turnover in their math department in particular. They're a small department as is, but I believe over half of their math teachers have either moved or gotten, I think one of them was a distinguished teacher in residence, right? San Marcos for a little bit. So they were all good reasons, but when that happens, Del Lago culturally is very different in how they teach students. And so it takes new staff members, even if they're coming in as veterans from other districts, to kind of learn the Del Lago way. But we can certainly dig into why they're not moving the needle a little bit more. Yeah.
You say the Del Lago way. What do you mean by that?
Well, they're our only school that has been project-based learning. It opened that way over now 11 years ago, maybe 12. And for teachers that aren't accustomed to teaching or assessing in that model, it is very different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the ways they're different, and the main reason probably. Yeah. Hard to say. I mean,
Mark, you're not going to show any improvement. I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
Christy, can you define no mark, please?
Dr. Casas, can you define that, please?
Siri, can you define that?
It's not failing.
A no mark just means that the teacher doesn't have enough evidence of learning to assess the student. So rather than give the student an F, it's a no mark. And the student has opportunities beyond the end of the quarter, for example, to demonstrate their learning or reassess multiple times. So,
conversation for another night.
Which I don't think is a bad thing. You just have to look at how those types of ways of grading can impact other things.
Yeah.
And by the way, no marks are optional. Teachers, if they don't want to give them, they don't give them. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Casas. That definitely is both eye-opening, very detailed and intense, and we definitely appreciate you and your team for all you guys are doing. It's, with all the ed code that comes down, which I'll be speaking about later, it's amazing that anything gets accomplished whatsoever, so thank you. So now we're going to move on to public comment, and do we have anybody? Can we get on to public comment?
We're going to do E1 first.
Yeah. Report from the California School Employees Association. Anybody here speak to that? We're not at public comment yet. Okay, nobody here. Report from the Escondido Secondary Teachers Association. No comment there. So we'll move on to public comment. So the first card that I have here, the first and only card we have from the public is Dana Moen, who happens to be the principal of charter here in Escondido. Hi, Dana. And so you'll be speaking, and so go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, Dana Moen, proud graduate of Escondido High School, class of 1989, and proud principal of Classical Academy High School in Escondido for the last 17 years. Two reasons I'm here. One is to just thank you guys for supporting the amazing public educational choices we have in Escondido. Hearing the stories tonight, watching the presentation, you guys are doing amazing work. We are doing amazing work with the students in this community. Second reason, I want to introduce you to a student that's inspired me. Lucas Winkleman drives out from Vista and comes to Classical Academy High School. He's a scientist, he's a recent author, and he has a presentation for you guys tonight.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to first of all thank my principal, Mr. Moen, the school board, and everyone else for listening tonight, for having me here. My name, as you already know, is Lucas Winkleman, and I am a junior at the Classical Academy Personalized Learning Campus, preparing to pursue a career as a theoretical physicist and cosmologist. I doubt I would have been so confident in this career choice if it weren't for my inspirational school and supporters of the district like you. Although high school was something I was dreading in middle school, it has now become one of the most incredible adventures I have ever encountered, thanks to its personalization and supportive faculty. To reveal more about my supportive school, I would like to briefly explain that before entering high school, I wanted to write a book on science. I perceived it was a way of achieving some scientific contribution to society, given my inability to do actual research at the age of 14. Although I had begun my book before moving to high school, since day one, when my high school found out I was writing, my teachers always inspired me to continue. The most challenging part of the book process was actually not writing the book. It was instead, when I finished it, I could not find somebody to more or less read the book. So I actually happened to email over 30 professors, though through personal research, and none of them replied, just to put that into perspective. But luckily, out of all the people, and no offense to him, but my AP World History teacher helped make this publication a reality. He allowed me to make the assignment of publishing my book as the primary goal of a passion project we were doing in his class. He had a connection who read my book and even owned a small space agency that was compiling a lunar legacy mission. Shortly after this connection read my book and proved it, I managed to self-publish it on Amazon. The space agency, by the way, saw my book as a valuable legacy object to put aboard a vehicle that will land on the moon. And thank you very much. Coincidentally, this meeting couldn't have happened at a better time because this launch, it's from Kennedy Space Center, happens tonight at 10:11 p.m. aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket to the moon.
SpaceX, did you say?
Yeah, SpaceX.
Nice.
And I believe it was already delayed a few times, and it could be delayed again tonight, but when I saw that, because I got mixed up, I thought it was yesterday. But, you know, just because I mixed up with Pacific and Eastern time. but
You're going to have to catch up with moon time.
Oh, yeah, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, so anyway, it's going up there tonight. There's live streams on YouTube if you want to see that, if you want to stay up for a late night. It's 10:11 p.m. But anyway, with further ado, I'd like to thank all of you for providing academic choices and options like the Classical Academy High School. You have opened the doors for our lives as students to be more academically exciting. You have also allowed us to obtain personalization to the best of our needs to ensure we all have a fair chance to learn and be good people in the future. And by the way, one last thing. Tonight, I would like to offer each of you a signed copy of that book as a thank you for supporting our school of choice and making this achievement a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good evening.
I was going to ask you the name of the book, so, but it's right here. That's
As
fantastic.
long as the book does not cost more than $49.99, we can accept it. Because we cannot accept gifts more than $50. So
How much does it cost?
It did not.
It's under 10, right?
Okay.
There you go.
We can accept it. Wow.
Thank you.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Dude, you rock.
Awesome.
You guys enjoy some science.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Well done, Lucas. Excellent job.
Thank you, guys. Dana, thank you so much. I know that I and most of this board, I think all the board actually, are huge proponents of charter schools. So thank you for the work you guys are doing there. And we look forward to continuing approving your guys' status regardless of what's happening up at the state level. So thank you. So then I guess that's it for public comment. So then we move down to F, educational services. And now we're going to ratify and approve field trips and conferences. That one falls under the consent calendar as well. So do we just move down to F2 for now? Okay, thanks. So then we'll move down to F2, approve capital outlay equipment purchases for Escondido High School and Orange Glen High School. And I think that goes to Assistant Superintendent Phillips. No? Who?
Dr. Casas.
Oh, man. We're going to need to have like green and red lights for me up here until I get my training wheels off.
We'll install them the same time we fix it.
I think you are.
Checking the mic. Am I on? Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, President Weller. Capital outlay equipment purchases. These are for Escondido High School and OGCTE programs, in particular the automotive programs supported by the K through 12 Strong Workforce Program grant, and is aligned with Palomar College programming. These purchases are enhancing their curriculum with advanced clip car trainers, suspension, steering, and drum disc brakes operating hydraulic system trainers. These updates provide hands-on experience in diagnosing and studying various automobile systems, including engine performance, electronic systems, suspension, steering, brakes, heating, air conditioning, transmission, power assist, parking brake, electrical circuits, wheel bearings, real-world system skills and knowledge. Think of it as a module where students can actually practice with a model of a car instead of just reading about it.
That's excellent. Totally excellent.
I got a check engine light on. Can I bring it over?
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So then again, here, is this a roll call or just a general vote?
Just a general vote.
Okay. So can I get a motion, please? And a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Well, I now call for the vote, and I think we're going to get a unanimous yay on that. So yay. So call for the vote. Student board member Cadence, sorry. Can you vote, please?
Yay.
Yay. And then trustees.
Aye.
Yay.
Yay.
Great job.
Yes.
So who found this grant, Dr. Casas?
Ms. Funk, Mia Funk.
Okay, wow. Yeah, we had a special meeting, Dr. Vincent and I, with her, and we told her whatever she needs, we are all in on CTE. So that's too bad she's not here tonight. So she could let her know that she did an amazing job on that. All right, that takes us down to Educational Services Division, item number 3, approve proclamation for Career Technical Education Month. So you can help me with this. Okay, so I'm just going to read this out loud.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what you'll be voting on. So we have a copy of the proclamation for you framed. This will be in the district office, my office, probably for the month of February for CTE month.
So for CTE month, you know what? I could read it, but I know, David, you are so inspired by CTE. Is it okay if I have Dr. Vincent read it?
Absolutely.
Yes. Make sure your
Let me put my specs on.
Make sure your microphone is on.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Whereas the month of February has been designated Career and Technical Education Month by the Association for Career and Technical Education, and whereas the Career and Technical Education helps students form career goals and provides them with pathways and opportunities to gain academic, technical, employable skills necessary for true career readiness. And whereas the leaders from business and industry nationwide report increasingly challenge related to addressing the skills gaps connecting qualified personnel or professionals with available careers in critical and growing CTE-related fields, including health, energy, advancement in manufacturing, and information technology. And whereas career and technical education student experience meaningful real-world problem solving and applications, emerging technologies, and opportunity to interface with experts through business, industry, and partnerships. And whereas career and technical education is a part of the backbone of our workforce, and economical development fostering productivity in business, industry, and contributions to American leaderships and global competitive markets. And whereas career and technical education prepares students for fulfillment careers by offering integrated programs of studies that link secondary and post-secondary education and lead to attainment of the industry recognizing credentials. And whereas career and technical education offers individual lifelong opportunities to learn new skills which provide them with a career choice and advancement opportunities. And whereas cooperative efforts between career and technical educators, business, and industry stimulate growth and viability in the local economic. And whereas CTE program of Escondido Union High School offer rigorous relevance and relationship that engages students in career path preparation and options for employment, industry recognition, credentials, and post-secondary education. Now, therefore, it's resolved that Escondido Union High School District hereby proclamates February 2025 as Career and Technical Education Month and urges residents of Escondido, California to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by career and technical education programs. Thank you so much. This is very profound, and I thank you for allowing me to read this. I think it's one of my passions, and I just want to see this go in definitely into a direction that you and I discussed before, and that with hope that we can do that and continue to contribute, because this is our future. And I've always said that if we don't have highly technical skills in engineering, even professional medical and that, we're going to lose our competitive edge in this world. And I mean, definitely in this world, but in this country and that. So we need to maintain a high level of education in these areas that we are now supporting in that in CTE program. Which is really important. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Can you guys pass it back?
So what you're saying is if we had more students who are writing books, we'd be in a better place?
As long as they're like this one.
Yeah.
I was going to discuss particle and wave beams with them, but I don't have enough time.
That's at the 10 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
I'll actually see if we can get some more of these made for whatever board member wants.
I would like to get
because I know
one,
you want
actually.
one for your house.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I know it's going to go in the living room.
Exactly.
Do I have another one yet, or? That's later. That's later. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we got to approve it, right?
Need a motion.
Oh, okay. I need a motion, please.
Motion.
To approve? Yeah, and a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, this time I will call Cadence to vote first, please.
Aye.
Okay, and for the trustees to vote?
Aye. Yay. Yay.
All right, very good. So that is approved. So then we move down to Section G, Human Resources Division. So then there are a number of items on here that were under consent vote. So do we do consent vote now, or?
We already did the consent
Okay,
vote.
so that's our.
G1, G2, and G3 were approved earlier this
Got it.
evening on the consent calendar.
Cool, thank you. Thank you for the help teaching me how to do this. All right, we're now down to 4, approve updated job descriptions and classified recommended reclassifications for classified personnel. I'm pretty sure that's Dr. Good, so I'm kind of getting up to speed here.
Got it.
Okay, so you can take control.
Thank you, President Weller. This item comes to the board as part of our every 3-year reclassification process with CSEA. Over the course of the past 11 months, CSEA and the district have been engaged in the reclassification process to ensure that employees are appropriately compensated to stay competitive with neighboring districts, and that their job descriptions accurately reflect the work performed or the work that we're asking them to perform. I'd like to particularly thank CSEA for their collaborative, respectful, and productive partnership with us in this lengthy endeavor. I'd also like to acknowledge and recognize CSEA's team, Rachel Macias, Juan Vargas, Peggy Barrett, Marilyn Eggles, Diego Meneses, Chris North, and Carla Grove, and also the district's team, Ms. Phillips to my right, Vicki Kim, our director, Jonathan Salt, and myself. And I'm happy to submit these 32 job descriptions for board approval. Happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Good. Do I have to call for a motion before we have discussion? Yes. Okay, so I'll call for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. And is there any discussion before I call for the vote?
Thank you.
Well, thank everybody. It sounds like things went really well with the team and that. So congratulations, and thank the individuals that you negotiated this with for their diligence and support and that.
I certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so then I call for a vote starting with our student board member.
Aye.
All right, and for the rest of the trustees,
Aye.
vote aye.
Aye.
So that passes. And so then moving down to item 5, we're to approve a proclamation for National School Counselors Week. School counselors standards-based student focus to be celebrated from February 3rd to February 7th. It's kind of a short week, but okay. So
We also put this proclamation in a frame that will be in the superintendent's office during National School Counseling Week.
Okay. I'll read it.
You can read it if you want.
Actually.
It's also posted in the agenda.
Bill,
Bill's son is a school counselor, so.
congratulations.
Not to take away your fun.
My son is a school counselor, and actually he's working with WAHUPA and is doing work over at Escondido High School currently, 2 or 3 days a week.
Oh, great. Excellent. Congratulations.
So proclamation to recognize February 5th through 9th, 2024 as National School Counseling Week. Okay, can we fix this? Proclamation to recognize February 5th through 9th, 2024.
We will fix that, yes.
It's January, you get a
Correct in the
1-month
first
grace period.
paragraph.
It's
right.
last year's dates too.
Oh, I know.
As National School Counseling Week. Whereas the week of February 3 through 7, 2025, correctly, has been designated National School Counseling Week with the theme of school counseling, helping students thrive. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential. And whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. And whereas school counselors help families focus on ways to further the academic, career, and social emotional development of their children. And whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves. And whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And whereas comprehensive school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Escondido Union High School District hereby proclaims February 3rd through 7th, 2025 as National School Counseling Week and urges the residents of Escondido, California to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by school counselors and recognize the tremendous impact school counselors have in helping students achieve school success and plan for a career. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durning, very much. So then I would like a motion to approve the proclamation for National School Counseling Week.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I second.
And so we'll call for the student board member vote first.
Aye.
And the trustees?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes. So then we move down to 6, which is approve the proposed 2025-2026 school year calendar. This was brought to the Board of Education for a first reading on December 17th, 2024, and is being submitted to the board for approval. The proposed calendar reflects input from stakeholders and the cumulative work of the EUHSD Calendar Committee. I have to say that I appreciate Marie putting such great detail in here, and it only took me 5 sections and 4 topics before I started reading what each item should be before I talk about it. So thank you. So, do we need to?
Dr. Good.
Dr. Good. Okay.
I can give a brief introduction. You covered most of it. This is a second read following the first read last month. There have been no changes to the calendar since then. Happy to answer any questions you or the board may have.
So because we do need a motion before we discuss it, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. So I did have a comment or a question. If I remember correctly, we changed the calendar partly to sync up with the elementary district?
You're correct. This year we were misaligned with the elementary district. We started a week prior to them and will end a week prior. This calendar for next school year aligns. Effectively, we will start a week later than we have historically for the past several years.
And then do we end a week later?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. It's foggy that month anyway. My kids wish that we could stay out through all of September, but that's for another discussion. All right. So we have a motion and a second. So I will call.
I do have a question.
Oh, yeah. Go
Why
ahead.
did we do that? What's the rationale?
Do what? Sync up with the elementary?
Yeah.
Being misaligned doesn't really serve our families terribly well. Many of our high school kids may have younger siblings in the elementary district. Our attendance that first week where we were misaligned was lower than historically. We suspect because some of those older siblings in our district were perhaps at home caring for their siblings in the elementary district since they hadn't started yet.
That's a noble change.
Yes.
Thank you.
Question, what about the other, the charter type schools, classical, charter, and others?
We don't necessarily model after their calendars.
You model after ours?
Good question. I'd have to look.
So when are we going to get to see?
They actually have their own boards and they set their own agenda that way.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All righty. So we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, vote from the student board member.
Aye.
Aye. That's very good. All right, trustees.
Aye.
All right. We are now synced up, so that's excellent. And so if we move down to number 7 here, which is receive the Williams report for the second quarter 2024-2025, October through December. And I'm pretty sure that's for Assistant Superintendent Phillips. Did I get that right? No. Who gets it?
I'll take this one.
Oh, okay. HR stays with Dr. Good. Thank you.
As you mentioned, this is the report for the second quarter of this school year, covering the months of October through December 2024. Happy to report that there's no complaints that were filed.
Okay, well, good. Can I get a motion?
Information only.
Just information only. Okay, very good. So then we move down to business services, which would be Amanda. And so items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 were all approved on consent. So just move on to I.
Yep.
Okay. So then we can move on to I, district operations. And this one here, I1, is to a motion to adopt recommended revisions in board policy 1330. And so do we want to read it? Do I want to call for a motion first?
You can first ask for Amanda Phillips to just give the brief rundown, and then we will.
There you go.
Put a motion on the floor.
I finally get to do something.
So this is a second reading. So this is BP 1330. This is a revision of our use of school facilities. So this was just adding some language from CSBA, adding some clarity and some specificity regarding the costs relating to our facilities. No revisions since our last meeting.
Okay. So I will, do we have a motion and then we can discuss it? Because we do need to adopt the policy or discuss it. So can I get a motion to approve the changes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
Discussion would be like, see, like, there's not any specific amounts obviously in here.
Is your mic on? Is
But,
your mic on?
Oh, isn't it on?
I'm not sure.
Maybe you can't, maybe I'm not talking into it enough. So there's no specific amounts on here. I just want to make sure that as we look at the use of facilities around the county, that we're consistent and equitable. I recently looked at, like, if I was to, as a coach, want to rent the field, and it looked like the cost for the maintenance side seemed really high. So I just would encourage everybody to look, like, it's basically like the rental cost for the hour was really low, but the cost for like whatever else gets added on to that seemed really high in comparison when I looked at other.
For the custodial? For the custodial,
and I didn't understand what that meant. It was like, if I'm using a little piece of grass, to what extent is that couple $100 custodial fee actually really needed? So I would want to look at that a little closer to make sure that it's really fair.
Yeah, so
those fees are fair.
Our fees for the facilities are actually relatively low. We're probably one of the lowest.
The fees.
Correct.
Not the other fee.
Correct. For our labor, basically those are minimally required when we need staff to come in and either open the fields or maintain the bathrooms. And those are, we basically need them for the minimum, or they're required for the request of the people that are renting them. For, let's say, we have folks that have reunions and come, and they either need security and they request security for X number of hours. So whether it's the request of the people that are actually hosting the event and they want custodial for X number of hours or security for X number of hours, or we're requiring it because you're coming on campus on a weekend and somebody needs to come and unlock it, and it's for the duration of your event and somebody needs to be there. Basically, the price that we've attached to it is the bare minimum to cover the cost of our union employees at overtime.
So the fee to, let me rephrase that. I understand the fee.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, my mic's on. Oh, is it?
Oh, it was on.
It was on. You're on. Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, because usually when you hit it, it goes. Okay. Here's the thing. So is our service fees maybe too low?
Some of them
Rental?
are. So like the fee for the football field is about $150 an hour, but the fee for like a grass field is like $5.
Okay,
But there's a couple $100. That's the part I think that maybe we would need to understand. I need to understand a bit more, is like, how are we charging several $100s for a custodial fee? And it really doesn't even say, like, so we can get into this later, but it doesn't even say what's included, but it was really high.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's basically $70 an hour, basically, and that's for having somebody come open up, maintain the bathrooms.
If that's the case, let's say a staff member, like coach at a certain site, is using those facilities at the same cost. Do they pay those custodial fees, or do they get to wait? So I'd be curious to see an accounting of how much money we've made off of our fields in the last several years, because my guess would be we'd make a lot of money off of those fields based on what I see.
We have all of it, and it basically gets returned back to the sites. They have a facilities line item, the site budgets do.
I just want to do a deep dive on this.
So how do we do that? Like, what do we need? Do you?
What do you need for,
Like,
can
how much
provide
is,
the
I'm
accounting.
trying to your point, I'm trying to figure out, like, is there a breakdown, like a rental of the field? There's this amount.
Absolutely. It's clearly
Here's the co-
itemized on the
here's
rental for the,
operational cost for that.
yes.
You know, I don't know, get together time, something like that. Here's the operation. That means somebody is having a reunion or whatnot. How much is that?
Yeah, every event is
So
itemized.
is this external individuals that are renting the facilities?
Both.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Could be both. It could be some of our high school coaches.
Right, but they
that
still
are
pay.
renting the field. I know. I just want to make sure that, again, that we're really keeping an eye on making sure that that is not getting abused in any way. And that if we are charging those fees, like, I would be curious to see how much money we're making each year off of
it can be
each
provided.
field, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.